Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D, campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party finally left the territory of the Sundragon Kingdom after saving multiple cities from the Scar Concord's machinations, both direct and indirect, and has made the crossing into the kingdom. Where Barbarous wages war on the Western Alliance on behalf of the Concord, and none of their other allies have risen to the challenge. With Sundragon held at bay by Tropu, Blackthorn and Shadow Lily not coming to Autumnfall's aid, and the Tebadrins nowhere to be found, with Sundragon's personal burden alleviated, the duty falls to them to protect the Mage Kingdom from the colonialist barbarians. But while you guys get closer and closer to the warfront, Caleb continues to plot political machinations for the Tebadra family, and has roped Zephyr into assisting with his schemes. And you all find yourself in a prideful, easily offended kingdom of mages.
Oh yeah!
That prefer to keep things in the bloodline. The motto of the House of Autumnfall is heritage dictates. To them, family and bloodline is everything. As Sundragon, probably unwisely, leaves you all to your own devices. You all are left in the center of the village of Adin, surrounded by the Darkwood, where the rest of the militia is setting up camp. And Sundragon has said there is a place where they allow travelers to stay on the north side of town, if you wish to go there. But in the meantime, Lucian, you had heard that Autumnfall was a great place to find magical accoutrement.
Yes, there's something very specific I'm in the market for.
So with that, also welcome, Kiaro. Are you good to monitor chat?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So, as you all are left to your own devices in the Autumnfall village of Adin, what would you all like to do?
I'm gonna go look for what I'm looking for.
All right. Lucian quickly excuses herself to head into the village, apparently having some business to conduct. Anything from the rest of you?
Let me see. I guess Tuka will just follow along, just cause.
Okay. Tuco, you follow along with Lucian. Zephyr? Carol?
Whoops. Yeah, I'll just go.
Do you want to come? Yeah,
Yeah.
you can come with us, Caro.
All right. Zephyr?
Yes. I forgot I was muted.
I figured.
Zephyr's going to just probably do what he's been doing. Just like, you know what? I don't care about this place, so let's rest.
All right, so are you going to head north, or are you just going to, like, camp in the forest with the militia?
You know what? What's my brother doing?
Caleb?
What's going on?
You're in the village. What do you want to
Wow.
do?
What village are we in again?
Wow.
The incest mages.
Yeah, the incest village.
Oh.
I remember.
Caleb was mostly going to try to stay out of fucking trouble.
All right. Zephyr, it seems like your brother's mostly just kind of keeping to his own devices, staying out of trouble. You see the rest of the party is heading off into town to do some shopping, and you can already feel the thought crossing your mind that they're going to get into trouble. They're going to get into so much trouble.
Probably. And you know what? They're big kids. They can handle themselves. So I'm just gonna lay back on the top of the shed and just relax, or the cart.
Carriage, yeah. All right. In that case, Lucian, Tuco, and Caro follow you along as you seem to have some, destination in mind. What exactly are you looking
Yes.
for?
I am looking for a tome, specifically the tome transport via plants.
Okay.
I think it's
Make an
teleport or transport. I can't remember
It's
the.
transport via
the-
plants. All right.
Yeah. Okay. was
Make
right.
me an investigation check.
Okay. New dice. Ooh. Okay. I don't know what my. I still can't get on D&D Beyond. So just give me 1 second to
Here.
see if I can't pull up my
What?
sheet.
Yeah, Austin's got it.
What are you rolling for?
Investigation.
Investigation.
Investigation. I rolled an 18.
You got a +4 to investigation.
So 22. All right. Lucian, you sort of act as an impromptu and Tuco as you make your way through Adim. As mentioned, the village is rather small. Only a few buildings, and many of which are either under construction or recently demolished. Stretches of farmland as they attempt to simply make a living for themselves. Some of the buildings outright appear to be empty, with some tools lying around, likely in the process of renovation. Real estate is at an all-time low, to say the least. But as you search around, you do eventually find a seemingly kind of improvised library built within the guard tower on the outskirts of town. The inside is kind of designed to look like almost like a wizard's tower with just bookshelves all the way to the top, but with stairs leading up to the ramparts at the top where guards would likely grab spell books from inside and sling them at coming bandits. And approaching the seeming proprietor of this place, you see the owner of this kind of improvised tower library, likely just peddling books to the soldiers as on an as needed basis. You see the person running it is a halfling that appears to be incredibly kind of skinny and malnourished looking. You can see like one eye is like slightly bigger than the other. But they do greet you with a cheerful halfling smile. And they kind of put their hands up on the desk and kind of lean up to be able to look at all of you a bit better, and they give you a smile, Tuco, likely assuming you to be a supportal halfling yourself, just a little on the bigger side. They smile at all of you and, hello, what can I do for all of you?
I'm looking for something specific.
Well, it should be a big help if I knew exactly what specific thing it was.
I will tell him, I would like... Now, so, correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew. Now, the tome is what I can copy into my spellbook.
Scroll is what you can copy into your spellbook.
Right? Okay. So, I would like to buy a scroll from you. I'm looking for transport via plants.
Isn't it like you can copy from other books, right? But it's as well.
I believe so, but
I have a book.
I was like, you can copy from other wizards' books. Just takes time and money.
mm-hmm. Well, what sort of spell are you looking for?
Plants.
Transport via plants. They kind of wince a little bit as they start looking over sort of their options, so to speak. And after a bit of consideration, they pipe up again. I'm afraid out here in the sticks we don't have spells of that caliber. But just across Darkwood Bay, the town of what was it? They think for a moment before nodding. Shellbeat. They should have spells like that over in Shellbeat.
Are we headed that way?
Sundragon didn't say, but she did. But the halfling did say it was across the bay. So you know you're heading across the bay at least.
I'm not exactly from around here. Are we going south?
Yes.
Is it south?
Yep, just south across the bay. Beautiful town. People there can do some really great magic.
I can see Tuco kind of looking at the halfling with something approaching sympathy, like, so, why don't you join them?
I'm afraid I just don't have the finances for it. But I've been selling and slinging spells for the local guard, and I'm hoping to save up enough coin to make my way south. Of course, the roads aren't exactly safe these days, so I'm content as a cucumber to wait until the bandit problem gets dealt with. Savvy? No,
Yeah.
Not going to be much good to the Shellbeats if I arrive without a single spellbook to my name.
We got a point there. There's a pause before he kind of looks to you. They're like, "Hey, mate, if you want an assist or something, I'd be more than happy to guard you."
Oh, thanks so much, mate. But they kind of tilt their head with a smile. Looks like you've already got yourself a group of traveling buddies. I'd hate to impose. I'll admit I can't exactly pay spectacularly. Family's fallen on hard times, I'm afraid.
No kidding. Well, if it's money that you're worried about, don't worry. With the job we're going to be working, we won't. I don't think we'll have much. We won't be wanting for money for very long.
Oh, congratulations. Well, how rude of me. What's your name, mate?
Tuco Slitherot.
Pleasure. And they hold out a hand to you. Or a paw, rather.
Which Tuco shakes.
And the two of you?
Lucy and Elificare.
And you, miss?
I am Carol.
They give you all a very broad, toothy grin, and give you all a kind of somewhat kind of awkward. You get the impression that they haven't exactly practiced it properly, or if they have practiced it, they don't actually have a good frame of reference on how it's supposed to look. But they give you a passable bow, and I am the acting lord of the Pestilence family.
The pest. That Tuco kind of like straightens up and just kind of tilts his head. Pestilence family? Come again?
Oh, you've heard of us? And they give a very happy smile and kind of hop over the counter to stand alongside you. And now that they're closer to you, I will say, Tuco, you do smell a somewhat familiar odor exuding from this halfling.
Does it, does he smell like a blight rat or a
Scourge.
scourge rat? Oh.
It's a little distant and a little muddied, but the distinct air of filth and disease is there.
Tuco just kind of breathes in a sharp breath and, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm home already.
Oh, I'm happy to hear it, mate. If there's anything the Pestilence family can do to assist you adventurers, just say the word and I'd be more than happy.
He kind of looks about and just, do you have much in the way of what's the word? A bit of a guide on what we should do in this town? You seem to know everyone.
Well, it wouldn't exactly be great nobility if I didn't know everyone, would I? Yeah, and you go ahead.
Which Tuco just like, oh, I see what they mean.
They kind of look around for a moment before giving a kind of... And you watch as you see a little bit of scurrying from the books as a large, kind of gnarly-looking rat crawls out of the bookshelf and starts kind of like making their way down the shelves before skittering across the floor and approaching the three of you and looking up, doing that little rat periscope move. And the Lord Pestilence gives a smile, and my little assistant here would be more than happy to show you around town. There's not a whole lot to see. You can count all the buildings we have on one paw. But if you need a place to stay for the night, the barn to the north is allowing travelers to stay in. And our shipwright still stands, so if you want to do some fishing or just head out onto Darkwood Lake. And they kind of think for a moment. I suppose the local hunters could also use some assistance if you're looking for work.
I'll see how I feel.
You're not
As you
sure
think.
how long we're going to stay here. I think we're only staying a night.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, and they look down to the little rat and... Be a dear, would you mind showing these nice travelers to the guest house across town, and come right back here when you're done. I have some errands for you to run. And the rat kind of gives a little like salute and looks to the three of you, ready to start guiding you whenever you're ready to leave.
Which to that, yeah, Tuco would look ready.
And the Lord Pestilence looks to you, Lucian, and kind of gives you a somewhat guilty look. And apologies that I'm not stocking the spell you're looking for, but I do have some spells of a slightly lesser caliber if you want to pick some up while you're here.
What do you got?
Anything from a basic cantrip all the way up to your third levels.
Do you have Tiny Hut?
Tiny hut. Let me see here. And they kind of start fiddling around with their stock, kind of taking books off the shelf and kind of haphazardly tossing them over their shoulder. Just no. And they scamper across the way and slide a spell scroll to you. Tiny hut.
How much?
You have been rather nice, and I don't admittedly get a lot of business this far out in the sticks. They kind of think it over, kind of mulling over the numbers, and eventually, Uh, what say you to 400 gold?
All right, that's more than agreeable to me. I will shell out the 400.
Thank you kindly, dear. And she looks to Carol. How about you, miss? You in the market?
No, not right now.
All right. Well, my assistant will take you to where we allow travelers to stay. Don't worry, it's a lot more comfy than it looks. Like I said, if you need something to while away the time or just need some work, feel free to head to the hunters' huts across the way, and I'm sure they could use the help. After all, not exactly just animals out there. Bandits. Make sure you keep a close grip on your pockets. Well, I'm glad I could be of service to the three of you. Enjoy your spell, miss. And I will see you all if the need arises for you to find me again. And I appreciate your sympathies, Mr. Slitherite.
Oh, not a problem. He says, you can tell he's like, oh my god, I need to save my own home. Thinking about this stuff just makes me think of home even more.
All right. Lucian, with a scroll of tiny hut acquired, and Caro and Tuco satisfied, the rat on the ground kind of squeaks a little bit before scampering towards the door. And as you kind of open it up so that the rat can actually leave the library, you all begin to follow as the rat guides you across town.
As we're walking, Lucian's gonna turn her head over to Tuco and seeing like the longing for home look in his eye and just kind of give a sympathetic smile. You're missing home too?
Yeah. And there's a moment of he just kind of like, he looks kind of distant as he stares out and just, it's not a great place, but it's mine. As he gives like a grin.
Do you have family waiting for you like I do?
Well, in a sense, yes. The entire people are waiting for me. Us halflings, we believe everybody's family.
That's quite the concept.
Oh yeah. This whole business, even with mums and dads and all that, that's so. Well, usually the dads care for us, but not the moms. It's crazy up here, but it's interesting.
Are you planning to come with us after we've resolved whatever is happening in your town?
To call it a town would be a bit downscaling. Think of it as an entire people. And to the second half of your question, he thinks about it for a moment before. I might. I'm just not sure yet. I'm usually quite the traveler. I can never stay at home for too long before I get the urge to go out again and see it all. Can't forgive a man his homesickness, though.
Oh, I completely understand. I mean, just a few months ago, I was told I could easily go home and resume my work, and my status and everything would be, taken care of. And she kind of looks back to the where the rest of the party is. I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Huh.
It's like a responsibility, I guess.
So, you missed the place, but there's a lot of baggage left behind.
Well, I mean, yeah, my brother owns our entire fucking estate, which is a lot to have learned. but I mean, there's so much, so much. But I mean, just the thought of getting my job back and being able to resume a normal life compared to everything that we've done almost doesn't seem equatable.
I
Pardon?
understand. It must have been nice, though, for just that little while.
Well, I don't get to go home quite yet.
Ah,
My
Yeah.
home is a little bit further than where you are from.
really? Huh. Well,
Have you heard of Wicket?
I've taken a few contracts there, in that area, but I don't exactly learn the land, so to speak. I'm not really trying to stay for very long. I'm an assassin, which is unique to just one of our broods. Most people, they see a halfling and they think they're all sweet and smiles, which makes the job I do a lot easier. As it gives you
Can
kind of
Can I ask you a strange question?
go on, shoot.
Well, have you ever heard of my family? Like, I wonder if anybody ever took out a contract for my dad.
Well, what's your name again?
Elefikir.
Lefakir. He thinks and pauses for a moment before. Ah, no, it doesn't quite ring a bell, but if only because another halfling I knew took up one of those contracts. They beat me out of it, but considering the mess that's unfolded, maybe it was for the best.
Just kind of think it's like a funny thought to me. But I mean, Caleb is an assassin too.
Yeah. But last time I checked, I don't think his race were, like, infamous for being nice.
He's a human, so I mean, humans are an entirely different species than, what you and I are.
Yeah. But if you see halflings are known for being friendly. That's the thing. So nobody expects us.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't exactly expect a 14-year-old boy to stab somebody, but I mean,
Ugh, ain't that the truth? 14. Crazy to
I
think I used
know,
to be that age once.
he's just a kid. It's so crazy.
Looks like everyone's trying their hand at becoming an assassin these days.
Not me!
Yeah, you're a whole doctor bit, right?
Well, I mean, I was training to be a kind of a doctor, more a mortician, really.
Ah, mortician.
Well, my family, my dad, he was very well known for his work.
Huh.
Let's just say a lot of people have come to my dad when he was alive.
Good way, a bad way.
Uh, Depended on what you needed.
Hmm. Yeah, I understand that as much.
I'm just glad that nobody expects that from me.
Must be convenient.
Not exactly, because whether I like it or not, when people hear my name, they think I'm my dad, because I have the same name as my dad.
Eh. Names are a tricky thing.
Isn't that true?
As you all make your way across Adine, Caleb and Zephyr at the carriage. You see the trio making their way. Lucian with a rolled-up spell scroll in hand, engage in some casual conversation with Tuco as they pass by the well in the center of town. Anything noteworthy from the Tebadrons before we continue?
Not really.
Yeah, he's just gonna, I guess, see their new companion that they brought along, and just probably go back to just lying down, just waiting for the next move to be set.
All right. It's around this time that starts to kind of maneuver the carriage to give it a safer, more covered position in the dark wood before once he's parked it, heading into the village. If either of you ask, simply saying that he has some, I have some business I need to take care of, an idea I'd like to try. And before Zephyr, you can bring up what a terrible idea that is, given his track record. He's already gone.
I wouldn't have brought it up. I was just, again, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He can take care of himself. And Tuco, Caro, and Lucian, the rat guides you down the way before stopping and giving you all a very proud look as you are brought in front of what appears to be a very simple-looking barn. Looking around, it's one of the few buildings that appears to be either undamaged or not in construction, and you can already smell and hear the sound of some livestock. But as the three of you are looking at it and the silo of presumably grains off to the side, you see a figure kind of stepping out of the barn and kind of whispering something to those inside. But as they turn to look at all of you, they kind of look visibly surprised, but kind of looking at your clothes and equipment and gathering that you must be travelers, giving you a smile. And their smile is actually very radiant. Their skin and hair has this kind of whitish blue color to it. But their eyes, you almost think they might be blind if it wasn't for the fact that they're looking directly at you. Their eyes have this kind of bluish white sheen to the pupils. And whenever they smile, you just get this immediate just sigh of relief passing over you as all of the tension kind of drains from your bodies. And they give a smile as they almost skip towards you. Appears to be a male, but you're not sure of the species given the skin color. But they give a smile and, hello, hello, hello. You must be travelers here, is that right?
And who is this?
Just pretty-looking humanoid from the barn.
And just, yeah, we are.
Are you looking for a place to stay? And they look down at the rat that's kind of staring up at them and sniffing, and they give another smile and, Lord Pestilence must have sent you.
Yeah, he did.
They give a smile and a small bow, and you notice their clothes are kind of like flowy and not quite fancy. They look a little too like humble for that, but they do have that kind of flowy and colorful look to them that makes them seem kind of impractical for work clothes. But they give a bow and, I am the Lord Celestial. I would be more than happy to offer you a place in my humble abode if you need a place to stay for the night.
Tuco is just taken aback, staring at the two of them, and just kind of like, yes, that, sure. Wait, who are you all exactly?
Uh, have you not heard of us? We are a very noteworthy family.
Oh no, I'm just new in town, you see.
Oh, well, I suppose it can't be helped. And they give you a bow, and I am the latest in the celestial bloodline. We were blessed. Power. It drives us to do good, but our fate is our own to determine.
So, you're like contractually obligated, or is it like an instinctual thing?
I want to insight this.
What do you say?
He's not here, but he was like, I want to insight this.
I'm not here.
Yeah, you said you were at the carriage, remember?
I thought, yeah, it's kind of made it sound like we're all like going over there right now.
No, yeah, the carriage is just being parked in the Darkwood. And in response to you, Tuco, the Lord Celestial gives a smile, and I suppose one could consider it a little bit of both. Our blessed bloodline drives us to do good, but that doesn't mean we aren't capable of some form of independence. And they kind of look around for a moment before smiling, and you watch as a feathery pair of wings sprouts from their back. And Tuco, again, you almost immediately feel that, like, sense fall over your body.
Is that what I think it is?
They're a half-blood, but yes.
Oh my. Tuco being a doctor, could he actually insight this?
So do you want to insight if they're telling the truth, or do you want to try and figure out what they are?
Figure out what they are.
Make a Arcana check, since this is magical in nature.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Make an Arcana check, because this is magical in nature.
It sounds like Lucy
Okay.
wants to try.
Can I do one as well?
Go for it.
17.
17. Lucian?
Natural 20.
All right. The two of you are both aware that, or at least you highly suspect what this is. While you're both familiar with the concept of angels, as you know that many lands in this hemisphere have angels that work for their divine powers, you suspect this is different, as the angels both of you are familiar with take on very terrifying forms, at least in their natural state. What this is, you suspect, is dimensional. As both of you would be aware, given your magical talents, or Tuco in your case, just Magitech, there are various dimensions that define the world as we know it. There's Nightmare, which is the dimension of fear, Torment, which is the dimension of pain. This is, or rather what this person is likely descended from, is somebody blessed by Eden, the dimension of happiness. It is Torment's exact opposite on the divine wheel, parallel to the demons of Torment. The angels of Eden are considered forces of pure goodness, as they come from a dimension that is literally defined by happiness and contentment. However, Lucian, I'll say, Tuco, you're unaware of this, but Lucian, you have heard stories that the most magically gifted, who are able to establish contact with the other dimensions, do sometimes say that the creatures of Eden, while good intentioned, can occasionally be dangerous, as such pure goodness is simply not compatible with our dimension, which is, more neutral. Like, people can be good, people can be evil. So as a result, they have this almost like parasitic influence on people from our dimension, which you imagine explains that sense of like immediate, like dangerous dropping of guard that you felt just looking at them. It appears this person, at some point, their family was blessed given that Autumnfall people are all talented mages, you imagine that this person, or rather someone in their bloodline, managed to establish contact with Eden, which colored their bloodline. Possibly they crossbreeded with a creature from Eden, or just Eden touched them so deeply that it affected even their descendants.
Oh, yeah. Yikes. Oh man, to that Tuco would feel feel this like snapping desire to say no, fuck this, to the idea of spending the night with them, because to see something make him drop his guard so suddenly, it is definitely an alarm bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same for Lucian, and she's gonna kind of take that from Tuco's expression. As really wonderful it sounds to stay here. I have someone waiting for me, and I need these two to escort me, of course.
Lucian, make a deception check.
No,
Fuck.
no.
Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
Let's see what my so that would be a dirty 20.
The creature kind of thinks for a moment before smiling at you and giving a bow. I understand. Change your mind. My door is always open to travelers.
Mm.
And please give my best regards to these acquaintances of yours.
Ah, not a problem. Not a problem at all.
I'll just kind of help them to kind of guide them back over. I'm gonna head to where did Sundragon say that she was going? The docks.
Yeah, she was heading to the shipwright on the docks.
Okay.
I love this.
I'll just be like,
love
just.
it.
I'm glad.
Let's just
I
go.
imagine that they spend the night at that cabin. They wake up feeling a little tired.
Let's just go.
All right, Caro, you good?
And a little like the
Yeah,
years and
Pharaoh
off
is
the
not perturbed
lifespan.
by their ability. More so just like, ooh, I feel nice.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, they're gonna wake up feeling a little like a couple years been shaved off their lifespan.
As the three of you kind of nervously make your way away from the barn, and you're starting to realize that Sundragon had given you the impression that everyone was just going to be barely functional mutants, and well, you can sometimes see shades of it with the very slight birth defects and things of that nature. You're starting to realize that the magic had a different effect than what you expected. It seems like almost everyone here, their bloodline has been touched by something or other, and it shows very obviously in their physique, which for some of them it can come off like kind of ugly or mutated, but for others, such as that Celestial, it has a much more kind of unsettling effect.
Mm-hmm.
The three of you make your way down to the docks. And you can see it heads out over Darkwood Lake. Although you recall that Sundragon is in the process of commissioning a ship that can take them across Darkwood Bay. And as you guys approach the docks, you again notice that despite the pier being an obviously pretty good fishing spot, it doesn't appear like anybody is fishing at the moment. Whether that's just because they're so busy with agriculture, or simply because everyone here is so intently focused on magic and perfecting their bloodline, nobody seems to be bothering to fish. You can see a few small canoes already in harbor. And as you approach, there's a couple small buildings, just more small huts built along the pier. but you can hear Sundragon's kind of boisterous voice coming from one on the right. And Lucian, hearing it like a dove's call, you immediately make your way inside. Tuco and Caro, do you follow?
Yes.
Yes.
As the three of you make your way inside the small fishing hut, you see that Sundragon is currently in cheerful conversation with the shipwright, and she turns and kind of looks a little surprised seeing the three of you enter. Hey guys, get lost?
We're just wandering at this point.
And you can see she's kind of visibly trying to find something nice to say about the place, and eventually there's a lot of sights to see.
Yeah. Tuco just gives her that knowing smile and, like, half wink. Before just, we'll just sightseeing to enjoy the town, you know?
You've come to a good place. Ain't that right? And they look to the shipwright, which you can see is this is the most obviously unusual person you've seen. Caro, you initially think they might be a Lovelander because they have that kind of webbing between their fingers and those kind of wide, bulging, frog-like eyes. And the man appears rather on the fat side. You can see like the kind of pudgy, like that like kind of fat roll on their neck. And their hair has like kind of a dark bluish color to it, but it's kind of like thin and like doesn't appear to be growing in evenly. But you can see they're wearing a very nice looking suit. And as they kind of adjust it, they give a bow to the three of you. Well, any acquaintance of Queen Sundragon is an acquaintance of mine. Lord Aquatic.
Ah. Tuco just stares at him and just isn't really sure what to say after that.
Speechless, I see. I understand. Our family's very notable. The song of the sea hums in our blood. We call the waves and all within it to our command. But rest assured, I offer fair prices.
I could see him just. Can I see this in action?
At this, he actually does seem kind of interested. Well, I'm always happy to demonstrate what I'm capable of.
Go on.
Kind of gestures, is there anything else you particularly need, miss? And the queen just kind of puts her hands up and shakes her head. Nah, I've got what I needed from you. Thanks so much, sir. Happy to help. All right, come along. I'll stretch the sea legs a little bit. And he starts making his way past the four of you. And you notice as he passes you by, Tuco, Caro, and Lucian, you all see this. You can see that his body is covered with almost imperceptible fine scales.
Ugh.
Interesting.
And you can see that Tuco being the most scientifically oriented, although say Caro being a very naturally oriented, you probably understand it too. The fat looks a little unnatural on him, and you realize it's because he's not naturally a large man. It's that he has a layer of blubber, presumably to protect him from cold water.
Oh.
As he makes his way out of the hut and onto the docks, he kind of starts cracking his webbed fingers, and... All right, prepare to be impressed, Mr.
Tuco Slitherite.
Of the Slitherite clan.
Yeah, actually. It's cool to see that that you know of them.
It's an honor to make your acquaintance, sir. And with that, he smiles, seeming it's slightly arrogant, but you do see that he is just genuinely interested in showing his magical capabilities. And he looks over the stretch of empty dock and steps close to the edge. You can see his kind of like, they appear to have seen better days boots, like the toes just over the edge of the dock. He's silent for a moment before he holds out his hands, and you watch as the waves on the dock begin to churn before he forms his hands into a kind of circle as if he's like molding clay in his hands. And you watch as water rises from the lake and forms this massive sphere of water. Lucian, you realize it's like a water version of your of Tuco's flaming sphere, and he slams his hands together. You watch as the water begins to boil before geysering up into the air, and this like boiling hot water cautiously and lightly sprinkles over all of you. And as all of you are now not soaking wet, but like fairly wet, he waves his hand over all of you, and the water is pulled from your skin and onto his to his palm. And as if just to show off, he runs his now wet hand through his hair to slick it back. Ta-da!
That was impressive.
Give a little.
Ooh. Don't take all the water from my skin, please.
Not to worry, miss. I'm very understanding, as you can see, of your physiology. And he shows you his webbed fingers.
Yes. Can you breathe underwater?
Indeed I can, and I can telepathically communicate with all aquatic creatures.
Ah, how often does that come in handy?
More often than you'd think, yet not as often as I'd like.
He's Aquaman. A really lame Aquaman.
Lame Aquaman.
Wow.
No, he's cool. I love him.
Given that people already think Aquaman is lame, that's biting.
That's
Yeah. Lower.
No, I think you mean this is cool, Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cooler, Aquaman. Aquaman
Cooler
wishes.
My ancestors were blessed by the merfolk, as well as squid-like creatures from the stars.
There sure are a lot of blessings going on in this town.
Well, the Queen Autumnfall says it herself. Heritage dictates. Only the finest of bloodlines are allowed to live in this fine kingdom.
Right.
But not to worry. I'm sure a proud member of Brute Slitherite will be more than welcome among our kin.
Oh, I couldn't.
You may not be possessed of all latent magical talents, but I'm sure the Queen will make an exception for such a finely trained warrior. What about you, miss? What family do you come from? And he looks to you, Kara.
Oh, I'm not from this country. I am from Perugia.
Ah, foreigner from abroad. So my ancestors were Perusian. A pleasure. And he holds a webbed hand out to you.
She'll shake his hand.
I don't suppose you passed through Innsmouth at any point?
Did we? It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
No, you likely live too far south to visit Innsmouth at any point.
Okay. No.
He gives a smile and, it's a shame our families couldn't cross paths. And you, miss?
She looks at Sundragon and then she's like, me?
Yes.
Oh, I am Lucian Elephicare.
Of the scholarly Alefakirs of Wicket.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, it is a real pleasure, finally getting to speak to an equal.
She'll shake his hand.
Well, if there's anything further I can do, I've already agreed to rent out a ship passing through from the Weiss and Sardom to get you all across the Darkwood Bay. Be careful out there, though. There's rumors of pirates about.
Yeah, we heard.
He gives a smile and... Well, is there anything else I can do for all of you?
What time do we set out tomorrow?
You'll set out just after the dawn. I suggest waking up early. Although, and he kind of glances to Queen Sundragon and leans forward. I get the impression that if you wake up late, it won't be much of an issue. She seems rather fond of all of you.
So that Tika will
I'll look
smile.
over to Sundragon, knowing well how well of a morning person she is. Just kind of give her a little smirk.
Sundragon kind of like looks away, and you can see like a very slight red creeping into her face, seeming a little embarrassed. Well, if you need anything further from me, do not hesitate to seek the aquatic family for any further aquatic needs.
Thank you, that's very generous.
Of course, miss. And he gives you a bow. And you're also starting to notice a trend that, given that this village is really suffering economically, people are barely able to have homes, like they're working day and night just to have food, yet everyone seems to be willing to spend money on nice clothes, of all things. Status is everything. Any further business from the three of you while you're in town, or are you content to return to the carriage?
I'll stick with Sundragon until it's bedtime.
Alright, Tuco, Kara?
So you're gonna stick with Sundragon, like till it's bedtime. I don't think it's gonna change. You're still gonna stick with her.
No, it's true.
I'll head back.
Alright.
I was gonna say Tuco probably is ready to go back to the carriage at this point.
Okay. Making your ways away from the core of Adine, the four of you start making your way towards the Darkwood. Sundragon's business in town already concluded. Although once you're out of earshot of the shipwright, she does kind of pipe up as the three of you are walking with her back across town to the Darkwood, where the militia and the carriage are parked. Boy, that was rough negotiating.
Really?
I couldn't stop looking at his fingers.
Oh, goodness. Hearing everybody refer to themselves as Lord is definitely interesting.
Not to mention their names. The Aquatic can't be his birth name, right?
No fucking way. No way.
He totally made that up.
The Lord Aquatic. Yeah, I'll go swimming and be the Lady Aquatic.
Oh, brutal.
Well, I hope you guys didn't get into too much trouble.
No, I think we
didn't-
actually stayed pretty clear of it.
Yeah, I didn't get the spell I was looking for, but I got a spell.
What'd you get?
I just got Tiny Hut. I kind of got tired of doing it the way that the spellbook does it, so I'm just gonna do it ritually now.
She kind of gives a nod, not really knowing magic very well, but trying to take an interest in your interests. And the four of you make your way across Adine, past the town square, and into the Darkwood. Caleb, Zephyr, as the pair of you are just staying out of trouble and waiting, you hear some footsteps in the forest and see the queen return, as well as all of your party members, who, thankfully, Zephyr, judging from the lack of explosions or shouting, do not appear to have gotten into major trouble.
Where's What's-his?
I'm just thinking to myself, just wait for it. But, not as chaperone.
I hope he doesn't
Yeah,
get
but you
into
saw
any
him.
trouble.
You saw him last, so that's why I was asking you.
I saw him last. I saw him leave like I saw y'all leave. I didn't know what y'all did.
Well, if worst comes to worst, just find the nearest bar fight.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Do these people even do bar fights? I didn't take mages to be the kind to do something like that.
Sundragon kind of gives a grin and looks to Lucian, and I don't know, I can think of a certain, I never actually asked, come to think of it. And she looks to you, Lucian. What kind of spellcaster are you exactly?
Well, she kind of rubs the back of her head. I've
Given
been
the book
studying a
thing, I
lot.
just assumed your family were wizards, but...
Well, my dad, I guess, was a wizard of some kind. I don't really know about my mom. She was busy a lot, so I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with her. But I learned through, just instinct. I don't know. I've been worshiping. I was originally worshiping Marzana, right?
By this
Yes.
point, Zephyr has completely tuned her out.
But after, I guess, a while, I started worshiping. Which one is it? Fuck. It was just in my brain, and then it decided to
Shiva?
just jump on out. Yes, it just decided to
get-
go away to Shiva, and I guess I just was always able to do it since then.
Ah, cleric, huh? Family of wizards, and you ended up being a cleric.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic.
I'm sure your folks are proud. And you note the obvious sarcasm in her voice, seeming more directed at your parents than you, though.
Yeah. I know, like, yeah, you have no idea. I roll. Yeah. But I thought it would be interesting to learn about transmutation, since this whole, ichor blood bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and she kind of baps the side of the carriage with her fist to jolt you, Zephyr, to make sure you're paying attention. I've managed to get us a ship. Luckily, there's a trade galleon from the Weiss and Sardom passing through, so I got one of the locals to send word their way that we need to make a pit stop. You guys don't
Where
need to
was
do
it?
anything on the ship.
Where was
pardon?
it that I needed to go?
Shellbeat.
Is that on the way to Shelby?
Yeah, it's actually where we're planning to go. We're going to make a quick pit stop there for supplies, and if we move fast and don't run into pirates, which the locals seem to be pretty worried about, then we might be able to make it all the way to the war front within tomorrow.
That'd be great.
We're making our way to the city of Shniko. It's right on the eastern front to Barbarous, and it's completely defenseless. Well, not defenseless, but not as defended as we'd like. So I'm heading there to reinforce them. From what I hear, the Queen's there herself, making sure to keep the place safe in case Barbarous himself comes out to play. At that point, well, and she looks looks to Caleb and Zephyr. You guys are free to do as you wish. I'd appreciate it if you help me out dealing with Barbarous, but I know you guys got some family drama to resolve, so we'd be more than happy to keep Barbarous busy while you make your way into the Sprintwood.
Well, wasn't the original plan to go to Tabedra and deal with what they needed to do and then come back for Barbarous?
That was the
Wasn't
idea.
that-
Just reviewing your options is all.
I'll look to, I guess, where Zephyr and Caleb are. I think that will all depend on what's going on with these two.
I think it would be helpful if we dealt with it the way we planned. Because that way we can maybe even bring some help back. We might not be frontline fighters, but we could certainly make a mess for you to make things easier for you.
Yeah, that'd be helpful too. Sounds good. We'll make sure to keep Barbarous busy, and she gives you all a wink and a thumbs up. And if he comes out to play himself, all the better. I've been eager to see if Queen Autumnfall is actually capable in a fight, or if she's just been coasting on her family's coattails.
Just don't kill Barbarous. I have plans for him. And you just for the first time, I think Lucian will do that shit-eating grin of evil plans in my brain. The one that she has so come to fear on Lucifer.
Sundragon is kind of actually quiet for a moment, and then in a... No promises.
To that, she just kind of flattens her face and tilts her head. You hate him too, huh?
After what he did when he came here, what he did, and what his little group did to my people and to me, he'll be lucky if I'm not using his spine as a toothpick.
I like your style.
Kinda. Yeah, I'll put my hand on her shoulder and just kind of give it a little affectionate squeeze. Well, either way, we'll kick his ass together.
Amen to that.
Well, make sure you get back fast then. I don't know how patient he's going to be once I show up. Well, in that case, tomorrow's going to be our last day traveling together for a hot minute. So, it's been good meeting you guys. And she looks to you, Tuco, and kind of gives you a smile. Sorry about all the open mouth insert foot stuff. I've never been great with people.
That's alright. You did alright.
With any luck, if we don't get absconded with by pirates on the way, then with any luck, we'll make it to Sneeko by nightfall tomorrow, and you guys are free to do as you wish from there.
How far away is Sneeko, or whatever it is?
Make a survival check.
I know she's asking. I have no idea.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if you were. I wasn't sure if you were doing some Zephyr shit of I wonder if I can get there 3 days ahead of the rest of the party and make the DM focus on both.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but he's asking her. Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. She looks to you and, depends. By land, by sea, or as the Gigi bird flies?
I mean, I want to say flying. Let's just go with flying.
As At this, she actually seems a little thoughtful, given the relative lack of flight in where she comes from. She actually does have to kind of think about that, but she thinks well, I have to reckon if you were flying, she again thinks for quite a while before. Honestly, you could probably get there in just a few hours from here.
A few hours.
But I'm not exactly an expert. Don't exactly have wings. And she kind of flexes her shoulders almost to demonstrate that she does indeed not have wings.
Casual ogling.
Flex.
Yeah. And just Lucian eyeballs.
Googly moogly.
Great googly
Yeah,
moogly.
just googly eyes.
Great googly moogly.
Okay.
So tomorrow, are we separating tomorrow evening?
We'll arrive in Sneeko by nightfall. You guys can stay the night there, and come the morning, you can do as you like. Me, I've got a war to plan. I'm going to need to find Queen Autumnfall and start coordinating our forces. God, it's going to be insufferable dealing with her.
Do you want me to message her and see where she is and kind of let her know that we're on the way?
She actually kind of tilts her head at this, and can you do that? Have you ever met the woman?
Yeah, didn't I meet her at the summer ball?
Very briefly, but yes.
Yeah, I met her at the ball thing.
Oh, see, I blocked most of that out. Trauma response.
Lucian just kind of laughs at that. Well, if it wasn't for the ball, I wouldn't have met you, so...
She kind of tilts her head to the side, and, I'll have to take a range check if it was worth it. And she kind of gives you a smirk.
But yeah, if she just kind of like starts stumbling over her words, if that's what she wants, yeah, I can absolutely do that.
Go for it. But I'd recommend, I don't know how it works with magic, but I'd recommend lowering the volume.
Well, I mean, I could literally just say it in my brain and it just be like a telepathic thing.
I think she means the person you're talking to is going to be loud.
Oh,
And she just jerks her thumb to Zephyr. Lucian, do you message the Queen Autumnfall?
Yeah, I'll just kind of be like, haven't seen you since the ball, but I've been working with Queen Sundragon to come and help you with your little issue. We should be there, well, she should be there in about a day or so. Like, right? It's a day or so?
Yeah, you'll assuming pirates don't attack you, you'll arrive by nightfall.
We should arrive by nightfall, assuming that we don't get deathly killed by pirates. She just kind of like, is like, oh wait, I shouldn't have said that.
There's a lot of words there.
No, that's it.
The response comes quickly, and sure enough, you're immediately like assailed by this loud, squealing, accented voice responding to you. I can't believe this! You've kept me waiting all this time! What have you been doing, sitting out in the sand?
God. Jesus fucking Christ.
Lucian's face is absolute deadpan and very
you
like
can
she looks
Queen
at
that if she is not here by dawn, that she can consider this alliance over, and I'll deal with Barbarous myself.
her eyes
As
just
if I
kind of
need
like
her help.
Lucian kind of strokes her chin.
And you get the
See-
impression that she literally continues ranting well after the spell wears off.
Yeah, like she gets cut off somewhere.
No, yeah, because she literally just keeps interjecting with further swearing and complaints before the spell just literally stops processing them.
Lucian's eyes go back to Sundragon, and she's like, I understand now.
At this, Sundragon gives a wide smile, and she just hisses in like a gleeful tone, Ice Queen.
God damn.
She just kind of like, well, good news, bad news. Good news, no, she knows we're coming. Bad news, she says that she wants you there by like dawn.
Of course she does. This is it. This is my personal hell. I have to deal with her and in the morning.
At this, Lucian is gonna open up her bag of holding, and she's gonna bring out the coffee grounds that she's been holding ever since they left the fucking, underground. And she's just like, if I knew how to make it, I could make you coffee.
It's fine. I probably shouldn't have caffeine anyway. That's how I'm gonna get into fights.
Oh shit, you're in the shitter now.
Yeah, she kind of runs a hand through her blonde hair and just, not looking forward to it. Might as well get the last good sleep I'm going to get for a while. Knowing her, she's probably going to wake me up at the ass crack of dawn every morning to discuss battle strategies!
This gives her a
Jesus.
loud laugh from Lucian, like absolute cackle.
Oh, Agnes, you need to show discipline! Oh, Agnes, stop picking your teeth with the dinner fork!
Oh my god, she
Jesus
sounds like my mom!
Christ. You suffer well.
That I do. And also to prove the point, she pulls out a piece of silverware that, from the looks of it, she probably yoinked from one of the villagers and just starts picking her teeth with the fork.
Oh god, I can hear my mom now. Lucian, don't do that. It's disgusting.
Well, you guys get some shut-eye. The men will keep watch. And we'll make for the ship in the morning.
Where are you going to be staying?
Me? Probably just gonna stay in one of the tents. I'm sure I'll find one of these men who's willing to have a night with the queen.
Lucian just kind of awkwardly stands there.
What do I get the impression that the night will not be filled with fun?
Oh yeah, Mommy's got some anger issues she needs to work out.
Again, Lucian's just kind of standing there awkwardly. She's like looking at her shoes and kind of like kicking at the dirt.
Well, wish me luck. And she slicks back her hair, kind of adjusts her jacket, and Tuco, you know, she pulls the shirt she's wearing underneath down enough to show a little bit of her chest, and starts just stomping proudly into the militia camp to find the quote-unquote lucky soldier who gets to spend the night with her.
Lucian is gonna go sit somewhere.
All right. Anything noteworthy from the rest of you, either before going to bed or just over the course of the night?
Yeah, Lucian's gonna stay up. She's gonna try to transcribe the scroll, and then just kind of pout.
So did you buy ink and all of that?
Oh yeah, I already had all that.
Yeah, I remember her buying it a couple towns back. All right. As you all start prepping to turn in for the night, Lucian, as you pout on the outskirts of camp and transcribe your scroll, What's is eventually returns, seeming relatively pleased, but otherwise it doesn't seem injured, so it doesn't look like he got into obvious trouble. Your best guess is that he probably stole something.
Lucian just kind of is looking a little distant.
All right. You all get a long rest?
Let's see my items here.
And as you're all not even really awakened by your circadian rhythm and more like the combination of the sunlight, which granted you're in the dark wood, but there's still a little bit of sunlight kind of streaking through the trees here and there, and just the sound of the militia like getting ready to move kind of starts waking you all up gradually. As you all begin to awaken, Zephyr checking over your items, Caleb making plans in your head, Lucian pouting, What's his seeming pleased with himself. Caro, you had a good day. And
she's clearly pouting because like it's clear she wanted to spend the night with Sundragon, but
I gathered
she wasn't invited, so she's just pouting.
She wasn't invited.
Well, she wasn't.
Just like she doesn't seem like the type to invite someone.
Oh, that's kind of not the anyway.
Tuco, as you slowly awaken, you see the rest of the party's already getting on the move, and as everyone packs up the carriage, Sundragon, her hair a little frayed, and just the militia all gathered up in the dark wood, and all right, ladies and gentlemen. We're making our way to the southern coast. There's a ship from the Weiss and Sardom waiting for us. It's going to be cramped, so everybody buddy up and play nice. We're only going to be on the bay for a little bit, but make sure you keep a weather eye. There's said to be pirates in these waters. And with that, the militia gathers their equipment, rolls up their tents, and begins to march south. Anything you guys would like to do during the southern march to the coast, or are you content as is?
Lucy's just gonna keep. I guess she'll be in the carriage and just kind of put her nose in her books.
Okay. All right. Sounds like everyone else is fine.
Yeah, I'm just like, for now he's good, but he might have plans.
Yeah, plans. Zephyr always has plans.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, you already kind of said the plan. So, like, you're not wrong. I might just get there early.
Yeah, it's like, I'm done waiting.
Pretty much.
All right. As you all make your way down south, you cut through the dark wood, making your way across the sloping hills and valleys, and eventually you see the coast of Darkwood Bay. And anchored just a little offshore of it, you see a relatively impressive looking galleon that is currently flying the flag of the Weiss and Sardom. most of you aren't intimately familiar with the Weissensardom, but I will give a little detail for those who are. Caleb and Zephyr, Tebadra used to be a territory of the Weissensardom before, of course, your father claimed the Fort Rosewick after a dragon attack and simply refused to give it back. You know, the Weissensardom is incredibly devoted to commerce, and they tend to be one of the biggest problems for Tebadra, simply by dint of the fact that they are, to this day, interested in taking their fort back, especially because Rosewick was a really good fort. You know that, again, they are very commerce-focused. The Weissensardom originally had a lot of problems with, let's call it, inequality. But after a recent slave uprising and the newly appointed Queen Tsar Weissen, she rules her land with a firm but gentle grip, and they are very close allies with their southern border ally, the House Crimesoon. And rumor has it on the horizon that there's going to be an official merge between the two, simply uniting into one kingdom. Lucian, you've heard the occasional juicy political rumor that the Tsar of Weissen and the Queen of Crimesoon are going to get married at some point. Tuco, your familiarity with them is rather indirect. You know that they frequently deal on the sly with Broodmore, ordering custom advanced weapons and the like, which keeps their otherwise relatively moderate military a cut above the others, and it's what keeps them from being pirated frequently, as the merchants are carrying a bit more than your average black powder. But beyond that, the rest of you are relatively unfamiliar with the land, but you can see that the flag they're flying is a dark brown one with a darker brown heart covered in stitches, as if the heart has been wounded. And the Tebadrans, you would know that their motto, if translated, says, "Meet prejudice with kindness."
Interesting.
Ooh.
As you all approach the southern coast, you can see that there's a few Weissen sailors kind of bandied up on the beach, just kind of waiting around. Tuco, you note with some amusement that most of them appear to be either gnomes, or you notice a few small shapes moving, and kind of squinting in the sun, you realize there's gremlins among them. Caro, while I don't know your familiarity with gremlins, I like to imagine that Caro's having that kind of thing of just like, food? Question mark?
She probably studied them in the academy.
Yeah, it's true. That being said, yeah, Caro, you would know that gremlins are that originally were kept as slaves by gnomes, but you while you are unaware of the history, those who are more familiar would, of course, know that the reason that is not the case in Weissen is due to the recent uprising. As you all approach, one of the gnomish sailors kind of perks up as the militia approaches, and the sailors initially seem a little jumpy, but seeing you guys accompanied by Queen Sundragon and everyone bearing the Sundragon colors begin to approach. They relax a little bit, and as you all get closer, one of the gnomish sailors, kind of wearing just a small, simple brown leather coat and a little sun hat to keep the sun out of his little gnomish eyes, he looks up at all of you and, "All right, if it appears the fates are on our side. Most of our crew is, shall we say, and he looks to you, Zephyr, and kind of gives a smile and gestures, because, Zephyr, you're 2 foot something, right?
2'1".
You see that this gnome is actually a little bit shorter than you.
Oh my god!
Whoa.
And the gremlin's even smaller still.
Oh my god!
Yeah, most gremlins clock in at about 6 inches, and most gnomes tend to average out at about a foot.
That's funny. That is very funny.
So, Zephyr, you finally get to be tall.
Man,
What?
Yeah, the average gnome is 1.5 feet. But
That
this
is
gnome appears to be a little on the
so
short side
funny.
for a gnome.
Is he microscopic?
No, he's like a clean foot tall. He's basically like a couple inches below his species average. But he puts a hand on his little belt, looks up at all of you, and does, to his credit, give a polite enough looking smile. Given the stature challenge nature of our crew, you should have no trouble finding space for you and your men. Just watch where you step and watch where you sit, if you don't mind. And with that, he gestures and hops into the rowboats. Come along. It'll take us a couple trips, but we'll get ye and your men accommodated, Queen Sundragon. Thank you kindly, sailor. And with that, she happily hops into one of the boats. And you can see it kind of rock side to side from her weight. At her to like hold still, and she kind of guiltily sits down. And with her imposing stature, she's really out of place among these tiny folk.
She squishes one if she steps on him.
I mean, honestly, she might. Luckily, gremlins are very muscular for their height, so just straight up stepping on them isn't typically a death sentence, but...
They're little and jacked! Oh!
No, yeah, gremlins are like 6 inches tall, but you want to know how much they weigh on average?
How much?
50 fucking pounds!
Oh my god. Oh, that's too funny.
I have barbells that are bigger than them and weigh less. As mentioned, it does take a couple trips, but you guys are eventually grouped together in a rowboat alongside Queen Sundragon with a small cluster of gnomes and gremlins. And you're initially wondering how they're going to go about rowing this thing to the galleon. But that question is quickly answered as, Tuco, you see one of the gremlins don a heavy-looking set of gloves, pull a kind of bright pink crystal from a box, and stuff it into a kind of metal contraption on the back of the boat, and pulls on a switch, and the boat kind of starts to vibrate, and all of you are startled as it lets out this sound and begins to completely of its own accord make its way to the galleon.
Yes. How fast is this thing going?
It's actually fairly fast, and from you imagine it could go a little bit faster, but at the moment, I'd say it's about equaling your running speed.
My running speed?
Yes.
Not bad.
Bear in mind, not your sprinting speed, but you're like just using your full movement.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like...
I just imagine like all of that pomp and circumstance, and they just kind of putters forwards.
Yep. That would be pretty funny, but no. Gremlin inventions tend to be very ostentatious and destructive.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you more about gremlin culture later, just because I think you would legitimately find it interesting, but it's not particularly relevant here. As you all are guided by this seemingly magically moving boat, Zephyr.
Zephyr's gonna get up, and he's gonna look towards the water.
You look down at the waters of Darkwood Bay. They're not exactly even. This bay does lead out into the Blackened Sea. And that would cut into the Northern Sea, which is very cold. So you know the water is freezing cold even this deep inland, and the Blackened Sea is kind of unfamiliar territory for you.
I guess, is the captain nearby? Who's on the rowboat?
There doesn't appear to be necessarily a designated captain, but that gnome with the sun hat and brown jacket does appear to be more or less giving the orders.
I guess I'm gonna shout towards him. Which direction are we going? And I guess the direction we're going already. But
we're making our way south. We were told that you're looking to head to Shellbeat.
Yeah, something along those lines. But how long do you think this would take?
It shouldn't take naught but a few hours, lad.
I could probably get there faster
then. You hear him pipe up. Come again, lad?
Good God.
I might take off here and, well, head there myself.
Zephyr, I know this is going to be weird, but make a persuasion check.
Persuasion? Alright. Persuasion. I am... 15. Okay.
The gnome seems kind of incredulous, but the gremlins, on the other hand, seem offended. And one of them, a pale white female gremlin with starch albinic white hair, like hops up onto the boat, kind of precariously keeping her balance as the boat rocks and sways as it moves forward. Pardon me, sir, but are you saying that you can go faster than our motor?
Oh no.
As far as at least from what you've shown me, yeah, but frankly, there's not much speed that I've seen that can go faster now that I have, he's going to show off his boots, these little things.
She does admittedly take an interest in the boots and kind of stops and stares. One of the other gnomes, a male one this time, pipes up. We'll show you, landlubber! Click the engine into overdrive! We're making for the southern edge of the coast! And the gnome kind of clutches the side of the boat and, belay that! But it's too late. The gremlins are already in action. Zephyr, you see, they pull a handful of the pink crystals and just start dumping them into the metal box. And the ship comes to a brief halt before you hear this. And you all start just making crazy speed headway through the bay, going literally past the galleon, kicking up splash water to a lot of the nearby boats. And you can hear yells from the galleon as presumably they're trying to yell at the crew to slow down. But the female gremlin who was talking to you, Zephyr, hops into the boat, kind of swaying side to side as the boat is now literally going so fast that whenever a wave hits it, it's in the air for a few seconds before hitting the water again. And she just grabs you by the arm with a wild, maniacal grin and, "You'll see, we'll get you faster than 2 shakes of a whatever you are's tail."
Oh no.
How fast are we going now?
I will freely say twice as fast as you could ever hope to go.
Oh.
So like 40 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, bear in mind, this is like medieval setting, and the gremlins have basically engineered a primitive speedboat.
Twice as fast as so what?
Tuco would be fucking clutching the sides of the boat at this point.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fast. Cause ever go what over 200 feet a second? 60
No, yeah, they can cover twice the distance that you can even at top speed.
Okay. Seeing this happen, he'll sit down, of course, trying to brace for not falling off.
Anything noteworthy beyond just holding on for dear life as you guys make your way across the bay? A little bit ahead of Queen Sundragon?
Caro is desperately trying to keep her animals sane.
Yeah, put a fucking like what a juxtaposition, putting a velociraptor in a fucking speedboat.
And a tiger.
Just yeah, we're fucking animal training.
It's literally just you guys you guys to get into a fucking wreck, and it just Life of Pies.
Oh god, Life of Pi.
What is Life of Pi?
It's a movie.
It's a movie about like someone who's trapped in a boat with a tiger.
Oh.
It's a very good movie, actually.
I've never actually seen it.
Oh, we should watch it together sometime. It's really good.
It's been a
Oh,
while.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's that song from that meme that I can't describe.
Yeah,
I
no,
say
it's-
stupid shit like that.
As promised, and yeah, no, Zephyr, I just ran the numbers just to be sure. Yeah, no, even if you got off the boat, ran on the water at literal top speed, at best you would equal the speed of the boat.
Well, okay. So how? Just out of curiosity, I mean, he'll stay in the boat. It's not that we're going fast, but what's the actual speed we're going? If you.
I'm not covering it by just straight up movement speed, because you guys are traveling long distances where your specific movement speed isn't really the main factor to worry about. But basically, to give you a sense of it, on the map I have printed up 140 sort of measures on the map is how long you guys can travel on foot in a day. A typical sailing vessel can cross 280, and this boat, clocking out its engine and also having an engine, it's able to hit like easily over 300. So basically, as twice as fast as you could go on foot.
It's like. Yeah. Okay.
As you all, Caro, you desperately try to keep the animals calm. Caleb and Tuco, you hold on for dear life. Zephyr, you just, I imagine, are pretty satisfied that you managed to get there faster.
Yeah, you were just gonna run it, so.
And eventually, indeed, after only about maybe 2 hours, you guys see the southern side of the bay coming into view, and the gnome starts to kind of nervously bark to the gremlins. All right, let's slow it down now. And the gremlins seem to already be on it. One of them cracks open the engine box, and the one you had spoken to, Zephyr, kind of pinches her long gremlin nose, gives you a wave before, woohoo, and dives into the box. And you see her literally just start throwing the crystals out. Like, literally just diving into the gas tank and siphoning out the fuel. And you can see the other gremlins just with practiced precision catch the crystals as she throws them. And with every crystal she removes, the boat slows down more and more and more until eventually it comes to a rough but thankfully safe stop a little distance away from the coastline. she pops back out of the metal box covered in soot. And Caleb, as you kind of look over your shoulder, you can see in the distance the galleon is just like beginning to start making its way. And she smiles to you, Zephyr, and with kind of putting her head on her hands, you can see she's covered in ash and soot. So, was that fast enough for you, Lizard?
It was satisfactory. We got here a lot quicker than it seemed like we were going before.
She gives you a salute and kind of clambers her way out of the engine and takes a few of the crystals from the rest of the gremlins. And the gnome, who's like at this point white as a sheet and clutching the sides of the boat, just, all right, let's get our passengers to the coast slowly. And you can hear some of the gremlins mutter amongst themselves, just slowly, slowly. And they start tossing in crystals again, and the boat starts to kind of gently putter its way towards the beach. You get the impression that, like, the gremlins are kind of running the show, and the gnomes are just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, I get that. They know the tech, so it's like,
Eventually, you all are guided to the beach, and the boat gently runs up against the shores of Darkwood Bay. In the distance, you can see the galleon has, you'd estimate, made it about halfway across. They should be here within an hour or two. But you managed to get here ahead of them. And as you all disembark, one of the gremlins kind of poses on the bow of the ship as you're all disembarking, and thank you all for flying Sea Gremlin. Always happy to get you there as fast as we can. Safety is optional. And the other gremlins start like,
Fucking Tuco would laugh a little at that. It'd be like that nervous kind of laugh.
you should have seen how fast we could get you here if we really kicked this puppy into overdrive.
Tuco's like, nah, no, I don't think I need to see that.
Suit
I
yourself.
think I do.
Come on in. We'll do another run. The you, Caleb, and doing that like kind of shake of the head of don't. As the gremlins make ready to their way back to the galleon, you all find your land legs again. Caro, your animals literally just leap out of the boat, and you can see Soren kind of hiss at it as he backs away. Garrow just kind of like almost seasickly like kind of bowls into you and just lounges on the sand, just happy to be on solid ground. And as the gremlins start speeding away once again, all of you take a brief moment to look as you have arrived at the outskirts of Shellbeat. Looking out, you see Shellbeat, as it is not as vulnerable to the Tebadran raids, this place is a lot better off. The buildings are all properly constructed. You can see already several trading wagons are either under construction or have already been brought in to the gates of the city. Several farmlands growing squash, grapes, and cabbages, as well as Tuco, you think you can see an orchard for apples. But unlike the villages, this place is a lot better defended. You can see a tall tower, presumably where wizards would cast spells from, or sorcerers rather, and protective stone walls that have been erected all around the city, with only Caleb, you can see at a glance, two ways in, one from the north and one from the south. And Zephyr, as you kind of peek to see the southern entrance, which is like just around the corner from you, the gateway is decorated with what you notice appears to be various skulls and weapons. Tuco, as you kind of sniff the air, the main smells you get from Shellbeat are garlic and oil. As you guys look over the new town, Sundragon and her militia are just a couple hours behind you. What would you all like to do?
I guess Tuco would just kind of look around and see what they have at the shops.
All right, so you're gonna head into town. Anyone? You guys just gonna follow?
I mean,
I'm gonna head into town since this is where they said the school would be.
yeah,
All right.
most likely. Well, seeing as Zephyr really can't use magic here, so he's just gonna kind of follow the group just casually.
I mean,
All right.
is it just like a supply stop?
Yeah, you guys are just planning to hang out here for a couple hours so that Sundragon can refill on supplies for the militia, and then they're going to head to the city of Shniko, where that's on the war front with Barbarous, and then at that point, you guys can stay the night there and then make your way to Vedra to the south.
Okay. I guess Caleb will just follow the others and just wait until we're heading out.
Okay.
He doesn't really have anything he needs to pick up.
Okie dokie. Lucian, eager to get your hands on the spell you were looking for, and the rest of you just interested in seeing the town and not having much in the way of better things to do. You make your way to the front gates. Tuco and all of you can now see what Zephyr noticed, that, yeah, the gate is just decorated, kind of almost lined with skulls and various, like, swords and spears just dug into them. The tall Sorcerer Tower looms over all, and the protective walls enclose the town. As you guys approach the gate, you can see a pair of kind of nervous-looking guards in pure white and blue cloaks. Watch as the group of you approach, and they kind of hold up a hand and state your business.
We're just going into the shops to, see if there's anything to buy, add to your local commerce and all that.
You go heavily armed for merchants.
Well, we're not merchants, we're customers.
The two guards kind of glance to each other, and after a bit of hesitation, they nod, and they don't do any gestures. They don't do anything obvious. The gate just starts to open on its own. But the guard who had spoken kind of gives you a nod, Tuco, and apologies, young halfling. We're at war, and we can't be too careful.
At war?
He gives a nod. This group calling themselves the Scar Concord, a uniting of the enemy nations of the eastern countries. They march against us, and our allies in the Western Alliance have yet to come to our aid. So we have to be cautious. I meant no offense. And he gives a bow.
Not a problem. None taken.
And he gestures, allowing all of you to enter. As you do so, and you enter, again, that kind of smell of garlic and oil hits you, and looking around, this place is probably one of the more colorfully inhabited places most of you have seen. Lucian and Zephyr, the only place you can think of that had similar levels of diversity was probably the Shadow Lily Confederacy. Caleb, you're kind of, not like roughly, but just kind of gently nudged as you see a girl that seems to be composed completely out of this kind of whitish blue slime passes by you, but she gives you kind of a polite bow as she passes by and, sorry, young man, and kind of slurps past you. Zephyr, you see this towering minotaur stomp across
Make
the
sure
street.
that he's not missing anything.
Make a perception check.
Perception check.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at perception. +9.
9.
It's gonna be a 25.
Checking your pockets, you don't appear to be missing anything, but you do notice that the side she touched does have a little bit of slime on it.
Fair enough.
You see this place has an almost unprecedented amount of diversity. Tuco, you see two figures talking to each other. One appears to be a giant and the other appears to be a goblin. You even see, kind of doing some shopping, someone who appears to be completely mechanical. Lucian, I know you intended to pick up a spell. Do you want to just head to the tower and see if they have spells there, or do you want to look for a dedicated library / spell dealer?
I would remember this, but did they specify where to find a spell?
No, they just said that Shellbeat was like the closest city that would have like powerful enough casters to potentially have the spell you were looking for.
All right. We'll start in the town and. Sorry. We'll start in the town and go from there.
All right, make an investigation check.
Rough.
Oof.
Yeah, sorry, a car went by. How dare it?
Yeah, dogs.
He does that to let me know that, like, if somebody's, like, close by, so I don't, like, have a panic attack when somebody comes to the door.
Fair.
I'm trying to see what my plus is for this. Investigation, right?
+4. You have a +4 to it.
So, 19.
Okay. All of you, since Lucian's the one who has like specific business here, just kind of follow along with Lucian as she starts checking the city of Shellbeat for any potential spell dealers that she can get in touch with. What's that?
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge. And after a bit of searching, you haven't found a dedicated spell dealer yet, but you are definitely getting the impression that basically this place definitely does get a lot of business. They may be being cautious given that they're at active war, but you almost get the impression a lot of these people, if they aren't natives, might be adventurers like yourselves, with bandits occupying the bay, pirates supposedly on the water, and all sorts of unique magical bloodlines here. It appears this place is almost a breeding ground for adventurers. And as you're just kind of looking around and seeing the sights, this kind of colorful tropical city full of exotic people, all of you hear from not a building or the street, but from an alleyway nearby. Hey, redhead.
I'll kind of turn around.
You looking for spells?
I narrow my eyes. Maybe?
as you all kind of curiously turn to see who's talking, because only Lucian heard that voice. The rest of you just hear Lucian talking to herself. But
you got crazy.
Yeah, like Tuco's looking at Lucian with concern.
But as Lucian turns and all of you do so, you all kind of jump as you realize somebody's standing there. You see a seemingly human, although you all doubt that's the case, man. Kind of purplish jacket. It seems to be like a duster. A pair of nice-looking boots, and a wide Stetson hat with an ace of spades tucked into the brim. You can see he has long, dark hair, but despite his decently exotic dress, the first thing all of you think of when you look at him is just, he's kind of boring looking. Caleb, you almost find your attention starting to drift away from him, and you have to keep reminding yourself to focus on him.
Oh, I love that he's here. Or I love that they're here.
He holds out a pale hand to you, Lucian, and I knew you were coming. I can give you what you're looking for if you need it, as long as you've got the coin.
I'll take his hand, but I want to insight him.
Make an insight check.
Ooh,
So nice to see another one of my species getting some light. 2 in one day, oh yeah.
21.
He does appear to be telling the truth, but as he tilts up his hat to look at you as you take his hand, his eyes are completely pupilless, and you almost feel your mind go blank when you make eye contact with him, like you're just staring into the abyss and the abyss is staring back at you. There is nothing behind those eyes. Not light, no mischief, not even really intent. It almost gives you the idea that this guy is just kind of drifting and doing whatever comes to mind, rather than having any real intention behind his actions. Whatever is in this guy's blood is strange, even by mage standards.
I'm looking for transport via plants.
Transport via plants. I can do that. And he pulls a card from his pocket, and as he whirls it around, you can see it has a almost tarot card style visage of what appears to be a artist's rendition of you. On one side of the card, there's just a beautiful rose garden, and then on the other, there's you emerging from the rose garden as he spins it around between his fingers.
Interesting. Does this mean anything to me?
Make an Arcana check.
Ooh. Let's see, what is my plus?
Arcana 4.
18. I couldn't figure out 18 or 19. It's 18.
The card does appear to be custom made, although you can't tell for the life of you if he just made it himself or if it's magically created. But as far as you can tell, it does appear to be functional. You can see that inscribed along the sides of the card are the arcane runes that would be required to make it a functional spell scroll. So it appears that this is just this guy's fancy way of dealing spell scrolls, likely to either make them easier to carry or just more custom and fashionable. Given the kind of city this is, you imagine that that'd be something these people would be interested in. Their scrolls being personalized for them so that they feel like their family is unique for having a fucking spell scroll, despite everyone having them.
Honestly, it's amazing that this guy isn't in the other town.
Oh, I actually did think out why that's the case. I'll tell you about it later. Or if you want, you can just ask what his story is. I actually do have a backstory for him. Rest assured, this functions perfectly well as a spell scroll, custom design. If you want it, and he kind of spins it between his fingers as he thinks over a price. 50,000.
Holy shit.
I mean, if we're asking for
That's a lot more than I have.
What's his kind of pipes up next to you? How much do you need?
50,000? I only have like 4,000 gold.
All right. Is that all right if I cover for her? And the guy kind of shrugs. Money's money. And he holds out his hand to receive a sizable sack of gold. And he hands you the card, Lucian.
Sweet.
You're going to need some more ink if you want to put that into your spell book, though.
Yeah, do you have any high quality ink?
50 gold.
Alright, I can do that.
As he takes the money from you, you feel just a weight in your pocket as arcane ink is literally just deposited into your pocket, despite his hands being occupied with yours.
Okay, cool.
Pleasure doing business with you, mage.
Who are you exactly? And how did you know I was going to be here?
He gives a kind of very lazy bow and Prince deck touched.
You're going to have to forgive me. I'm not familiar with the name.
That's to be expected. Unlike the rest of these casters, we don't focus on notoriety. We just focused on being effective.
But you didn't answer my question.
I can't hear you super well, Lucian. You have to
said-
adjust your mic.
He said you didn't answer her question.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello.
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 Oh, I said you didn't answer my question. How did you know I was going to be here?
He nods to the card in your hands, and I don't make those. I just provide them. I get little flashes whenever something's coming my way. Of course, if I'm sensing all of you, and I heard the call of the bird, I'm guessing that means wherever you're going, there's danger not far behind. That's good.
True.
To go to that,
What the
to which
f-
that
what are
Tugo
you-
was like, good.
It's good for me.
I beg your pardon?
Caleb, you remember how few of the people you've talked to from your home talked about how as long as things suck, they still have work?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Also, what did they say? I'm sorry.
They were basically just observing that, like, they got a premonition that you guys were coming, which is how they know who you are. But they said if they got that premonition, it likely means wherever you're going, there's going to be some trouble, which is good for him.
Oh, you're probably right. There'll probably be some trouble.
Good. You keep getting into trouble.
Yeah.
Any other business? All right, then. Enjoy your
I
stay.
fucking forgot I was muted. Thank you.
He actually seems a little surprised when you say thank you, and after a bit of hesitation, no problem. And with that, it's less that you see him walk away or disappear into the alley. It's more that you guys blink, and he's just gone.
By now, do I think that they would be arriving by boat?
You still got a little bit of time to kill. Sorry.
Do you guys want to go ahead and set up our places to rest for the night? And
Sounds
then
good to
I think
me.
that we should meet the queen at the waterfront and make sure that she and the rest of the troops get here safely.
I mean, sounds like our business is concluded for now, but whatever.
You can do whatever you want, Zephyr. I'm just gonna make sure that Queen Sundragon and her army makes it through.
All right.
So I guess I'll look for a place to put my crap down for tonight.
Okay. Any business from the rest of you?
No.
Okay. As you guys, Lucian seeming satisfied, since you don't need a place for the night, you just, need a place to basically put your stuff down and rest for a minute. You all kind of wander around a little bit, and eventually you find a inn by the name of Wanderlust for Nomads, and making your way inside, you can see that casters of all kinds are just milling about, many of whom already just have spell books cracked open and are reading them. Some are like scribing down on scrolls. You can see a sorcerer playing with what appears to be their familiar at one table, but you guys are able to get a table. Just sit and gather for a little bit as you wait for the queen to arrive with the militia. It doesn't take long, at least not in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, only about, at this point, I'd say maybe like an hour and a half. You guys sit around the table. Zephyr, you fiddle with your items. Lucian, you go through your spells. Keto, you just kind of look around wondering what your food options are. And eventually, the doors are less opened and more kicked in by a very familiar muscular blonde figure, who you can see all of the denizens kind of scowl at her as she makes a big scene, as she looks around, sees you guys, and her expression brightens and she approaches your table. Hey, fellas, glad to see you made it in one piece. Boy, the captain was pissed.
Oh, bet.
I'll admit, you had me worried there. I mean, I know a shipwreck's not going to kill you, but it'd be a real pain in the ass having to fish you guys out of the bay. And she kind of chuckles and just kind of sits unceremoniously at the table with you guys and kicks her boots up on the table.
Lucy just kind of dusts off the mud as she's trying to transcribe her her spell.
So, you guys find anything interesting here? This place is a lot more colorful than I expected.
Yeah.
Not really.
He kind of, she kind of smirks at you, Zephyr, and she doesn't touch you, but like she does, just kind of like nudge in your direction a little bit with a broad smile, and just, yeah, if it ain't money or self-interest, not much does interest you, does it, man?
Well, this magic and whatnot does, frankly, I don't understand it, nor do I care to understand it.
I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. She kind of leans back and puts her hands behind her head. I'm not exactly much of a strong reader, and she kind of looks around at some of the sorcerers who are just trying to practice their incantations, and she just kind of rolls her eyes and kind of points at you, Tuco, and just kind of playfully wiggles a finger. Bippity boppity boo. And like she does like a with her hands as if miming that you're going to explode or something.
Tuco just snorts at that.
I don't much see the point of doing a whole song and dance when you could just punch the guy.
I'm not far off from you in your opinion of that.
Lucian doesn't look up from what she's doing, and she just says, "Well, not all of us can be strong like you."
You can work out, but then I guess I could learn to read. And she kind of playfully tousles your hair and looks over your shoulder at what you're doing. And she starts kind of reading out some of the spellcraft, but her arcane reading is terrible, and it just sounds like gobbledygook. Like, imagine somebody who does not have a strong grip on the language trying to read out the dictionary. Eventually, she kind of... Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say I'll just tickle her nose with my quill.
She kind of reels back, already having crinkled her nose a bit, and she crinkles it further and finally sneezes and shakes her head. Well, I was just stopping in here for a drink. I got just a little bit of shopping to do, make sure everyone's stocked up on supplies, and we'll cut to the southeast, and with any luck, we'll make it to Shniko by nightfall. She kind of looks over at all of you and kind of notices that there's a bit of a kind of awkward, quiet air. And you guys doing all right?
Yeah, pretty all right. We got a weird fellow told us we'd be in for a whole heap of hell.
Lucian still doesn't look up. Fine.
She kind of does look to you strangely, Lucian, but Tuco's explanation seems to... She kind of accepts it with a shrug. And, well, you get all kind of weirdos in places like this. Probably just some lunatic. Thinks he's seeing the future when really he's just been staring at his own reflection too long.
His eyes were like endless pits. Best not to think about it.
Well, think of it this way. Is there any trouble you think you can run into that you can't just, do your thing? And she kind of mimes mixing chemicals and throwing a bottle.
To which Tuco gives a grin. Hardly.
Then shouldn't be much of a problem. He's probably just trying to scare you so that he can sell you a solution. That's how these people are.
Create the problem and the solution, and you will have lots of money.
Bingo!
Yeah.
You didn't buy anything off him, did you?
No, God no. Lucian did though. She blew 50,000 all in one go for a little card.
Did they even have that much money?
No, I had to borrow from what's his.
What's his kind of gives a wave from his side of the table. Well, I'd say credit for staying out of trouble, but that would have been a whole scene in and of itself. And she kind of leans back, and she can see some of the sorcerers are kind of glaring at her, whether because they're hearing what she's saying, because she's not exactly lowering her voice, or just because someone as, like, muscular and big as her just stands out in a bad way. Because bear in mind, even, like, the minotaurs and giants are fairly lithe-looking as they focus on their intellect rather than their strength. And she kind of chuckles a little bit as she notices a bunch of them glaring at her, and bunch of nerds.
Yeah, maybe you
this,
shouldn't be
to
calling
this,
them nerds
Lucian
before
just,
they can hear you.
Lucian hearing this, Lucian just kind of shakes her head and continues transcribing, not saying anything.
And in response to you, Tuco, she gives a smile and, well, maybe they shouldn't glare at the jock if they can't handle it. And she looks over to make eye contact with one of them, and they kind of nervously look back to their spellbook. Like I said,
I get a
nerds.
chuckle out of Tuco.
Well, I just got a little bit of shopping to do in town. You guys feel free to explore. Just try not to buy too much, or at least not blow all your gold. And like I said, we'll make it to Sneeko by nightfall, and she kind of glances to Lucian before looking to the rest of you. That's when we won't be seeing each other, at least for a while. And she looks to you, Caleb, and while she's careful with what she says, she is looking very intently at you as she says this. I don't know how long you guys are going to be gone, or, given what you're about to go into, how many of you are going to be coming back. So, I don't know if you plan to just abscond in the middle of the night or what, but just in case, I figured I'd say thanks for everything, you guys. I reckon this place would be one beautiful goddess shorter if you hadn't turned up.
To that, Tuco just gives a bow.
And she kind of...
Lucian seems like she's forcing herself to just keep writing.
You do see her expression kind of fall a bit whenever you don't look to her, but eventually she just sighs and, well, I'm heading into town. Stay out of trouble, guys. And with that, she puts her hands in her pocket and starts walking out. But as she does so, you can see another sorcerer is making their way in, and they kind of stop and glare at her. And she pauses before, like miming to bite them, and they like lean back a little bit. And she just and kicks open the door and walks out onto the street.
Well, shit. She was a nice sort. You,
Silent.
All right, then. I figured you'd want to say something to her, Lucian.
Sorry?
Well, since she's going.
She just kind of stares for a minute at what she's doing. Wouldn't matter.
Well, wouldn't you at least feel better if you had said something to her?
She kind of considers for a minute. I don't know how.
Well, go over to her, find her again, and say something like, I'm gonna miss you, goodbye, any of that?
She kind of stops writing finally and looks up to Tuco. Why? Just so I look like an idiot?
What? You look like an idiot. You're looking more like an idiot not talking to the person you've got feelings for before you go into something serious.
Well, it's obvious that she doesn't feel the same.
Ugh. She's dense. Dense as a brick.
Music.
The girl's strong, but she's lacking in other expertises.
I've never been in a relationship before, Tuco, so it's not like I know what I'm doing.
Well, I just gave you a bit of a hint.
I'll kind of stop transcribing for now and, blow off the ink, make sure it's dry before closing my book.
And close
And,
it, just a little ink. You could just see the ink splat.
I'll just pack up and I'll just kind of, yeah, I guess it wouldn't hurt to try. What was it that Lucifer said our dad would say? It's like basically like nut up or shut up or something. No, like Lucifer said something like specific, but like I can't fucking remember what it was.
I'm just thinking, what, Zombieland is that it's called?
Yeah. No. Okay. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, get on with it. Go.
All right.
Yeah, I can honestly see him like picking up one of the scrolls and bopping you on the head with it before ushering you out the door.
To this, Lucian just kind of like this little fake cowering, like okay.
And as you leave, Tuco just like slides in his chair and just swear, love.
After Lucian leaves the room, Caleb just like, women.
Oh, you are so right. Gotta love
This is
him,
why
man.
I don't deal with him.
That it makes him all the more fun. I like a challenge.
So
Kara's gonna go order food from.
Kara's like, you know what I love? Food.
On that note, I'm going to the bar.
Dale.
All right. All right. Caro. No, just like that whole interaction was just great.
Yeah, it's just like how all this shit going on. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get.
Okay, I'm going to go get food. I'll come back whenever you guys are less. There's less drama going on.
It's like that SpongeBob meme. Kara just gets up. I'm a head out.
Yeah, I'm heading out. All right. Do you want to get food for everyone currently at the table, Kara?
Sure.
All right. So for everybody currently at the table, that's 10 gold.
Yeah.
I will give them 10 gold.
Yeah. Kara, you can't tell if they're like knocking up the price simply by dint of the fact that that they're a little irritated with your table, or if that's just genuinely what they think is like a reasonable price in this town. Because compared to what you're used to, that's highway robbery.
Oh, absolutely. Food is usually like copper.
It's like
to
2
silver.
gold for the whole party.
Yeah, it's usually silvers.
But you place your order, and they you can see the man running it. He's got like a head of blonde hair. He just kind of like quietly nods and kind of shoos you back to your table, saying that the food will be out soon. And
okay, thank you.
Again, there's that kind of like pause, and he just nods again quietly. You get the impression these people aren't really used to outsiders being polite to them.
Very conflicted feelings about our group.
Yeah. You're a bunch of raucous jackasses, but you're also like the most polite and down-to-earth people they've interacted with. As Caro, you return to the table, the rest of you just start making small talk about just romance and how silly everyone involved is being sometimes. And eventually, whenever the food arrives, you are all given essentially these little like baskets of various apples, cabbages, and squash, as well as each of you are given a small thing of wine.
Mm.
And as you all enjoy your time at the bar as much as you can, Lucian, as you make your way out onto the streets of Shellbeat, it doesn't take you long. Sundragon stands out, to say the least.
She's easy to find.
You make your way over to her, and you can see her just down the street. You can see she's currently seemingly accosting this goblin girl running a fruit stand, although from the looks of it, she's literally just picking up some of her wares, sniffing and even biting some of them, and just like making small talk with her as she does so. And the goblin looks like she really wants her to leave, but like is too nervous to tell someone 3 times her size and girth to just fuck off.
Poor thing.
And
Sundragon, bro.
bear in mind, she's going from a kingdom of barbarians to a kingdom of sorcerers. Like, she has no goddamn clue how to... She couldn't do etiquette if it killed her.
Yeah.
And Lucian, as she sees you approach, she smiles, and... Luce! And she grabs another fruit from the goblin stand, and you can hear the goblin just, that's mine. And she just tosses it to you, and just, hey, try these apples, they're great.
I'll look to the small goblin girl. How much for the fruit?
She looks a little nervous, like she's trying to gauge like whether it's safe to like tell you the truth or not.
It's okay. It's okay. How much have you had, Aggie?
I didn't have that many. And you can see there's like 3 apple cores on the fucking stand.
Jesus Christ!
I'm gonna
eat all these
give.
apples.
I'm gonna shell out 20 gold for the little goblin girl. Just let her graze.
The goblin girl seems a little still unhappy, but it being paid at least assuages her concerns a little bit. But she still scowls and like brushes the 3 apple cores off the stand. Although Agnes quickly finishes hers, puts it back where the original ones were, and then grabs another one.
Jesus Christ!
I'm trying to go for a record.
What kind of record?
I don't know. I remember a friend of mine saying that if you eat more than 9 apples at once, you go into a coma. So I just want to see if it's true.
I mean, all.
Do you really think that's a wise idea? Since you've got like an entire war to fight.
I got a war to fight tomorrow.
Yeah, but like you can't fight the war tomorrow if you're dead today.
She kind of like thinks for a moment and like looks at the half-eaten apple, and eventually shrugs and puts the half-eaten apple back among the other ones.
Oh,
I get half price for that one, right?
Jesus Christ!
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And as somebody who works in food, the food safety here is just not there.
Yeah, she's gonna throw out the whole fucking batch.
Look,
And you can see she's looking at the fucking crate of apples, like with a visible wilting of her ears, like all of those apples just went to waste.
I'm gonna take Agnes and I'm gonna take her away from this poor girl's shop.
Alright, thank you, miss! And she waves over her shoulder to the goblin, who just, like, not even, like, looking at her, just starts, like, dumping the crate of apples.
Is there somewhere I could take her to, like, sit and talk?
Yeah, there's a few, like benches along the road.
Alright, I will take her to the bench and have her sit down, and I'll sit down with her.
Yeah, this place is great. These people aren't nearly as annoying as the queen.
I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but I think it's because they're scared of you.
You can see she's kind of like cleaning out her ears and like flicking her fingers a little bit, and just, why would they be scared of me?
I'll take her arm and I'll just kind of give it a squeeze. You brought the big guns.
Well, I can't help it if I'm packing heat, and she like flexes, and just, I'm sure these people will be fine. Hey, you! And she like points to somebody across the street who like jolts. Come here, arm wrestle me! And they just immediately start like picking up the pace going down the road.
Like, I'll take her arm and be like, actually, before you get into all of that, there's something that I've wanted to talk to you about.
At this, you can see her expression kind of flatten, and she immediately like corrects her posture, and she still leans back a little casually with an arm on the rest and the other arm lounging over the back of the bench, but she kind of gives you a nod. Yeah, what's up?
I'm not good at this at all. But Tuco said that I should probably talk to you. But I'm going to miss you, I guess.
I'll miss you too, Lulu.
She kind of like awkwardly kicks the dirt a little bit. Did you have a good time yesterday?
She kind of tilts her head to the side and thinks for a moment. Oh, yeah, it wasn't so bad. Like I said, the people are more charming than I expected, honestly. Ugly as sin, each and every one of them, though.
She kind of like...
Not to mention their attitudes.
Well,
the price for those
yeah.
apples was highway robbery.
I've seen worse. But I guess like she's super super awkward. Like she's like, I don't know how to talk about what's going on in my brain, kind of awkward. I don't know if we're going to. I don't know if we're going to stick with the plan or not, but I do hope that I get the opportunity to fight with you again. I know that's important to you.
She gives a smile. Of course, Lulu. And she kind of looks up at the sky. Sun may be up, as always, but unfortunately, it's dark times right now. Even when Barbarous and the Tebadrons are taken care of, we still got a few more enemies out there, all over Yav. So, I don't think we're going to have any shortage of battles, and she gives you a wink. Honestly, I'm glad. Everyone before the Concord showed up was a bunch of cowards. You declare war on them, win one battle, and then next thing you know, they're begging you for peace. So lame.
I don't... Who's begging for peace? She's like trying to follow her train of thought.
Remember whenever we first came to this continent? The Gyogrins, best military in all of Yav. We were so fucking hyped for that. And we show up, take one town. Next thing you know, they're burning every fort and retreating. Didn't even get to fight most of them.
I mean, the Gyogrins aren't known for, I don't know why they wouldn't have fought. They seem like they like fighting. I know Webster likes fighting.
She kind of gives a shrug, and who's to say? Point is, I'm glad we finally got an opponent that knows what they're doing.
Who, Barbarous?
Nah, not him. Just, the Concord in general.
Oh, God. There's so many things that we, like... This whole Concord thing is just... It's giving me a migraine.
And she kind of like puts a big muscular hand on your head and starts like kind of delicately, almost like kind of an awkward attempt to massage your head, but she does smile when you look to her. And well, at the very least, we get to be sisters in headache, right?
This gives her a little sad look in her eyes.
I'm glad I get to fight with you, at least. Truth be told, other than Blackthorn, I'm not super fond of most of our allies in this. Caleb and Zephyr seem nice enough, but something's fishy about the Tebadrins. And Shadow Lily as well. Shadow Lily was the one that fighting.
Yeah, I mean,
That what?
it
That
does
proposed the alliance.
it does seem a little odd that she's not fighting. I wonder if it's just because she's afraid of Barbarous, or
I know the two
Is
of them
there
have some
something-
kind of history, but I don't see what... I'm not exactly thrilled that her solution to whatever weird drama she has going on with him is to throw me, my sister, and Autumnfall and the Tebadrins under the bus instead.
yeah, that's real shitty of her. I mean, I don't know if we can I don't think we can make a stop there, because it's a little out of the way, but I mean, I could just ask her, like, right now.
She kind of gives a shrug. If you want. It's not like she's been answering my letters.
She kind of frowns at that. That's really strange, don't you think?
She kind of shrugs a bit, and honestly, not as strange as I'd like. And she thinks for a moment before. You and your family, you're rich and powerful, but from what I know, or at least from what you've told me, your dad wasn't all that involved in politics outside of trying to do political marriages. I may not be the best queen in all of Yav, but I at least know the basics, and unfortunately, I've started to notice a part of that, or at least that's what these people think, is figure out who you can throw under the speeding cart if it means to save your own skin. More than likely, she just wants us to die fighting her war for her. Try and keep her people locked away behind the walls. The Scar Concord just gave her an excuse to finally do something about Barbarous poking at her from a distance. And Lucian, you realize this is a side of Sundragon you haven't really seen. That, like, with how seriously she takes honor and combat, she seems legitimately really ticked at, like, pretty much everyone in Yav for being so nefarious and scheming when, it seems like what she wants is to just meet the Concord on a battlefield and may the better man win.
Yeah, no, Lucian just kind of nods empathetically. I mean, my brother's on this stupid Concord. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Because everybody's like, oh yeah, he's got these horrible things planned for you, and for most of my life, well, not most of my life, but like the last 5-6 years, I've been like terrified of him, and I just want to go back to how things were.
You can see Sundragon kind of takes on a somewhat dour and somber look, and she just kind of looks into the kind of middle distance, and me too. But things are different now, and I guess we just gotta make do.
Lucian will take her hand and kind of give it a squeeze. It doesn't have to be bad.
She kind of looks to you and gives a smile. Yeah. Suppose me moping's not doing my people any good. Maybe once Barbarous is dealt with, I have a favor I want to do for Caleb, and then maybe while I'm doing that, I'll see if I can't reach out to my sister. I think her and I have been apart for too long.
Were you guys close?
Used to be.
Yeah.
But, after her dad left, I didn't see her too much. The occasional ball or political meeting was the only time we got to talk, and it was obviously mostly business at that point. I didn't even find out that she was planning to get married until the ball.
Yeah, to us, it's his sister, of all people.
Well, love is blind, as they say. Love is blind.
Lucian will kind of awkwardly chuckle at that. Love can be stupid, too.
In so many words. She kind of gives a smirk.
I don't understand it myself. I never had a relationship before.
She kind of gives a little bit of a teasing smirk and kind of elbows you playfully. Yeah, too busy with the books, huh, nerd?
This gains a laugh from her, and she's just like, yeah, well, I had a job, you know.
Yeah, so did I. That didn't stop me. Had to beat the men off with a stick, sometimes literally, and didn't exactly have a shortage of women either. And she kind of leans back, almost like deliberately showing off her chest and muscles. And you can see even a few passersby are like, damn.
Little side eye. I mean, I didn't have, any shortage of interested people. It's just, I guess until recently, I didn't really think about it.
Oh, recently, huh? What changed?
You did?
You can see she kind of almost looks like kind of confused for a moment. And she kind of stares at you like she's like, you can almost see the hamster wheel kind of like the hamster's coming back from lunch break and getting on the wheel and like doing calisthenics before he starts moving. But then eventually she finally speaks again, and you get the impression that her mouth is kind of dry. Me?
Yeah, I mean, I met you at that ball, and you were just so cool, and getting to know you and being around you just makes me do and say stupid stuff.
And here I thought it just came to you naturally. She gives you a smirk.
And this kind of gets an awkward little chuckle from Lucian. When I'm around you, it is.
She kind of thinks for a moment, and you can see like she's kind of weighing her options cautiously, but then eventually she puts a finger on your lips, and then what do you say? We stop talking, do some shopping, and once we get to Shniko, I know this great club we can hit.
She just kind of smiles and nods.
She kind of gives you a smile. You're an elf. You don't got to sleep that long. And the queen's probably going to tell me something about me needing to go to bed early, so I'm probably not going to do it just out of spite.
Who needs to sleep? Sleep's for the dead.
Sleep's for the weak, and if there's one thing I'm not, and she basically like grabs you in a one-armed hug and almost effortlessly lifts you over her shoulder before putting you into a standing up position as she rises, is weak. Come on, let's go pester the townsfolk. I'll see if I can't get a discount on some of this overpriced crap. Oh, but it was grown by nobility. Yeah, and it's going to be eaten by me.
That's what I love about you.
On here, I thought it was my dashing good looks. And she kind of brushes her blonde hair over her shoulder. And almost immediately, she kind of stares at you for a long moment and smiles before her attention is grabbed by something over your shoulder, and she immediately turns you around and just starts ushering the two of you towards like a nearby stall that is just selling like little trinkets that she finds interesting, and she immediately just starts taking you around the town as you kind of get a day in the life of Sundragon, where she's doing the thing she's supposed to do as queen, but making as many pit stops and getting distracted as often as possible on the way there.
Lucian enjoys every minute.
Eventually, the time comes. Finishing your food in the Wanderlust for Nomads Inn. You all make your way out, and Caro, you can see the blonde man running the inn as all of you at the bar start heading out to regroup with Sundragon, kind of give you a nod, and you swear you can almost hear him mumble a distinctly Yavik accented, but no less discernible, "Thank you."
She'll wave to him as she leaves.
And you all rejoin the Sundragon militia, which had mostly just been camping outside of the city. Although, Tuco, you know, with some amusement, you can't really tell if they just didn't want to enter the city because Sundragons and Autumnfalls don't really get along, if the Autumnfalls just straight up didn't let them in, or if the Sundragons were just legitimately content to chill with their friends and not have to deal with the nerds. But as you all regroup with the militia, Sundragon and Lucian return, and Sundragon kind of looks over the militia, who all immediately, seeing her return, some of them start gathering the supplies and putting them in the carts, and others just start rolling up the tents and getting ready to move. And she gives a smile as she looks over everyone as you guys' carriage starts to get ready to move too. And all right, we're going to be on the road for a little bit, but we're almost to the war front, people. This is what we trained here for. We got some conquesting to do. And Lucian, you notice her eyes land on you in the crowd, and she says, still loud enough to be heard, but enough to where you get the impression it's personally directed, "As do I." And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Spitting out my drink, she said, "What?"
She said she's got some conquesting to do!
What?
He said, "Oh, you did
She said! She...
You did what?"
She said... I just keep that going forever. If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/GrahamCrackers, GRAMECRACKERZ, for my Friday campaign, The Goldshine Investigations, at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We have had our grand finale, so we are no longer streaming, but if you look at the Anarian's Rest or Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channels, you can find every episode of The Goldshine Investigations on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. I highly recommend it. The players were super talented. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer who just really, really, really needed to be topped. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. And support our episodes. Post on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions, or the Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channel to catch up on what you may have missed. And check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH, don't get it wrong. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link's about to be posted as well. On Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/Odd Tornado Productions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd. The TNO are in fact capitalized. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globe-trotting treasure hunters that are trying to assemble the artifacts of the gods to unlock the divine doorway. Currently on a pirate boat doing wrestling matches. Fun stuff. Thanks, everyone at the table. Wrestling. Thanks, everyone at the table, so much for playing. Thanks, everyone at home, so much for watching. And we'll see you all